You are welcome to yet another episode of HN What's Your Say? The #1 listening show, where we discuss real issues with real people like you. We are still featuring R. Kelly. Real name Robert Sylvester Kelly. Also known as the R&B King. This is not just a story about an ordinary man. This is a story about a battle for truth, for survival and for justice in a system that, according to those fighting for him, has turned R. Kelly, a name that once echoed through the halls of music history, into one that now reverberates through the corridors of a federal prison, where his life, his attorneys now say, hangs by a thread. Today we're diving deep into a chilling saga of alleged corruption, betrayal, and a desperate plea to President Donald Trump to step in and save a man who they say is being hunted by the very system meant to protect him. This is a story that demands everyone's attention because it's not just about R. Kelly. It's about the soul of justice itself. Buckle up, because what you're about to hear will shake you to your core. Earlier today in Chicago, R. Kelly's legal team walked into a federal courtroom and dropped a bombshell that reverberated far beyond the walls of that courthouse, followed by a press conference to deliver the rather disturbing information to the public. They filed an emergency motion, this time not just to challenge the 30-year sentence Kelly is serving for various alleged crimes that were never proved with substantial evidence, but to demand his immediate release from federal custody. Why? Because according to the findings of a credible investigation, R. Kelly's life is in imminent danger. This isn't a routine legal filing. This is a cry for help, a warning that something sinister is unfolding behind the razor wire and steel bars of a federal prison. His attorneys are sounding an alarm, reporting a conspiracy so dark and so depraved that it threatens to undermine the very principles of fairness and humanity we hold dear.
Filed a motion seeking the immediate release of R. Kelly based on the solicitation of his murder by high-ranking Bureau of Prisons officers and officials. These are people who seek to kill Mr. Kelly rather than allow the corrupt criminal conduct of those who manufactured his convictions be exposed. We recognize the stunning quality of these allegations, but in the end, these are not allegations made by R. Kelly. These are not allegations made by my office. These are allegations made by men who were solicited by government prosecutors and Bureau of Prisons officials to first violate the constitutional rights of Mr. Kelly and secure his unjust convictions, and second, to kill him.
Let's unpack this piece by piece, because the details are as shocking as they are serious. At the heart of this emergency motion are accusations that federal authorities, those entrusted with upholding the law, have yet again crossed a line into outright corruption. Kelly's attorneys claim these authorities have been stealing his private mail, the personal correspondence that serves as his lifeline to his legal team, his family and the outside world ever since his incarceration at the Chicago MCC. This wasn't a minor breach of protocol. It was a deliberate act designed to sabotage Kelly's defense. The lawyers allege that the authorities were rifling through his letters to find ways to pressure witnesses, to manipulate testimony, and to twist the narrative against him, which they did successfully. Picture this: a man locked away fighting for his freedom, only to discover that the system meant to deliver justice is instead working to bury him. This alone would be a scandal of monumental proportions, but the accusations don't stop there. The motion takes an even darker turn, one that sounds like it was ripped from the pages of a crime novel. Kelly's attorneys now claim that federal authorities, who are clearly not content with tampering with his mail and phone calls, have escalated their campaign to a level that's almost unimaginable. They've now recruited a white supremacist, an inmate with a dangerous ideology and a violent streak, to kill R. Kelly in prison. Yes, you heard that correctly. A white supremacist allegedly enlisted by the very people responsible for Kelly's safety, tasked with ending his life behind bars. This isn't a random act of prison violence, It's an orchestrated plot according to his legal team aimed at silencing R. Kelly forever. Take a moment to let that sink in. R. Kelly, who is already serving a 30-year sentence, is now a target of assassination, and according to his attorneys, there is plenty evidence in form of recordings and testimonies by BOP officers who were hired to finish the job. And this was to be accomplished not by a rogue inmate acting alone as was the case when he was beaten to near death back at the Chicago MCC, but by an entire system that's supposed to protect him and all other inmates. This is the kind of information that should send chills down the spine of every American who believes in the rule of law. If true, it means that the federal authorities, the ones we trust to uphold justice, have stooped to tactics that belong in a dictatorship and not a democracy. Stealing mail and phone call records to manipulate witnesses is already bad enough, but recruiting a killer to eliminate a man in custody? That's a betrayal of everything the justice system is supposed to stand for. So why is this happening? Why would federal authorities go to such extreme lengths to target R. Kelly's life? His attorneys have an answer, and it's one that cuts to the heart of this case. In fact, R. Kelly is being persecuted and not just punished for his willingness to legally fight back, to speak out and to expose what they call a deep-seated corruption within the system. R. Kelly isn't just a prisoner serving time anymore, he's a man who's dared to challenge the powers that be, and for that he's become a target. His refusal to stay silent and his determination to keep fighting has made him a threat to those who, according to his legal team, want to keep their misdeeds in the shadows. This is where Kelly's attorney Brindley steps into the spotlight. Brindley isn't just defending his client, he's accusing the system itself of betraying its own principles, of turning on a man who's already paying a heavy price for his wrongful convictions. Let's talk about that plea to President Trump, because it's the linchpin of this motion. Why now? To understand this, we need to look at R. Kelly himself. Every day Kelly remains in federal custody, his attorneys argue, is a day his life is at risk. The white supremacist allegedly tasked with killing him isn't a hypothetical threat but a real person, a dangerous force allegedly set in motion by those who should be protecting Kelly. The stolen mail isn't a minor inconvenience. It's a calculated move to undermine his defense, to silence his voice, and to ensure he has no chance to fight back. And the corruption they're exposing isn't a vague conspiracy theory. It's a specific and documented claim that's now before a federal court, demanding answers. Imagine being R. Kelly right now. Locked in a cell knowing the system you trusted to protect you is allegedly plotting your death. Imagine the fear, the isolation, and the betrayal. Yet despite all this, Kelly's attorneys say he refuses to give up. He's fighting not just for his freedom but for his life. That kind of courage and that kind of resilience is what drives this emergency motion. It's what fuels Brindley's passionate plea, making this story so much bigger than one man. This is a fight for justice, for fairness, for the fundamental principle that no one should face persecution beyond their sentence. It's a fight that calls on all of us to pay attention, to ask hard questions, and to demand accountability. If federal authorities were indeed stealing Kelly's mail to pressure witnesses, what does that say about the integrity of our justice system? If they've recruited a killer to silence him, what does that say about the state of our prisons? And if these allegations are true, what does it mean for the countless others who may be facing similar injustices without the platform to speak out? This is why the plea to President Trump is so critical at this moment. The president has the power to act swiftly, to intervene where others might hesitate. His attorneys believe he can see through the fog of corruption and take a stand for a man whose life is on the line. They're not asking for a favor, they're asking for justice. They're asking for a chance to save R. Kelly from a fate no one should face. And they're asking President Trump to use his authority to send a message that no one, no matter who they are, should be targeted for death by the system meant to protect them. This motion is a call to action, a challenge to all of us to look at the system we've built and ask whether it's living up to its ideals. It's a reminder that justice isn't just about punishment but also about fairness, about humanity, and about ensuring that every life is valued. R. Kelly's story, as complex and controversial as it is, has become a symbol of something larger: the fight against corruption, the fight for truth, the fight for survival. That is all we had for you today on HN What's Your Say. To keep updated whenever we post a new video, subscribe to this channel now. Also remember to hit the bell icon and enable notifications. And feel free to share your opinions with us in the comment section below, and let us know if you would like us to publish your views in our next release. We value all our subscribers' opinions.